During this video segment, I will show teachers how they can set up their time frames and units. To do that, I'm logged into Lansing Christian and I have a brand new course that I have set up. So let me go to Maps and go to Abstract Algebra. Notice it says currently there are no time frames or units on record for this course. To add a brand new time frame, you click on Edit Timeframes, and I can click Add Time Frame. And time frames are really a way to organize your curriculum. So instead of looking at the entire year at one time, it allows you to define your scope and sequence. Oops, so I made an error there, but I can click on the pencil to edit that. And so quarter one, let's go ahead and click to add another time frame, quarter two, and I could continue on adding in all my quarters. If your school has default time frames set up, you'll see an icon in the top right here. Not all schools will have this necessarily. It depends on if your curriculum admin folks set that up. But if you click on that, it will show you all the time frames that they set up. Notice it unchecked 1 and 2 because we already had those set up. So what you could do is you could copy those in, and it's a quick way to copy it. Or let's just take a step back here real quick. If you would have seen that right away, you can click on this icon, copy those in, and it's a quick way to set up your time frames. So now if I go back to my map, notice now it has my time frames defined. The next item is to attach units then to those time frames. So if I were going to add those in, I'll go back to Edit Time Frames and Units once again. And instead of clicking Add Time Frames, make sure you're in the time frame that you want to work with. So let's say in quarter one, I want to add in our very first unit. So we're going to have Introduction to Abstract Algebra. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? And that's going to be our very first unit. And then let's say the next unit is going to be using functions in algebra. Oh, it caught an error here, so let's go ahead and, oh, it doesn't have a suggestion though. So let's change that up. Functions. There we go. And we'll save that. And we can continue on with that. But once we have all of our time frames and units set up, if I click go back, notice it has those added into the map. So this is a step that most teachers do very early on in the process. As soon as they have access to Curriculum Track and they verified that their courses were all set up for them properly, they simply go to the course they want to work with. And I only have one course here, but they can go one at a time. Click Edit Time Frames and Units. They add their time frames first. And one thing that most schools will want to do is they're going to want to make sure that those time frames are consistent, at least within, for instance, the high school, that all the high school teachers are going to use quarters or trimesters, and maybe all the elementary teachers are going to use months and so forth. So you set up your time frames, and once those are set up, you can go ahead and you can add in your individual units by clicking Add Units. So if these are the 2 units that I have attached to this quarter, next I can go to the next quarter and add my next unit. And so once you have all your time frames and units in, we say your scope and sequence is completed, and you can move on to the next step of adding unit content in. One other thing I do want to note is we have a new feature early in 2017 that allows schools to lock down those time frames so that teachers can't change those and don't have to enter those in. To show you that, I'm going to go to a different school actually. And so let me log into a school called Tri-County, or rather Tri-City Christian Academy. So let's go ahead and go to, looks like Science 3 has been defined already, but let's say it's a brand new course. So Science 4, no work has been done. Notice though that all the time frames are in here. And if I click on Edit Time Frames and Units, notice that there is no add, edit, or delete by any of the time frames. And that's because if that's what you see, Then you know that the curriculum admin folks at your school typed these in one time for all the teachers and locked it down. So it's a little more convenient so you don't have to type those in. So regardless, there's three different ways of getting those time frames in. They're either defined for you by your curriculum admins, like Tri-City Christian has, or it could be that you have to type them in, or it can be that you click on that link on the top right to copy those down. And then once all your time frames are into that course, you can go ahead and enter all your units and then move on to the next course. This now concludes this instructional video.